3,000 years of sleep unsheltered hours, nailed to this wall of eagle-baffling mountain, black, wintry, dead, unmeasured, without herb, insect, or beast, or shape, or sound of life. Ah me, alas, pain, pain ever, forever. The crawling glaciers pierce me with the spears of their moon-freezing crystals. The bright chains cut with their burning cold into my bones. Heaven's winged hound, polluting from thy lips his beak in poison not his own, tears up my heart, and shapeless sights come wandering by, the ghastly people of the realm of dream mocking me. And the earthquake fiends are charged to wrench the rivets from my quivering wounds when the rocks split and close again behind. And yet to me welcome is day and night, whether one breaks the hoarfrost of the morn, or starry, dim and slow, the other climbs the leaden-coloured east. For then they lead their wingless, crawling hours, one among whom shall drag thee, cruel king, O mighty God, from thine unenvied throne, to kiss the blood from these pale feet, which then might trample thee, if they disdained not such a prostrate slave. Disdain? Oh no, I pity thee. I speak in grief, not exultation. For I hate no more than then ere misery made me wise. The curse once breathed on thee I would recall. If then my words had power, though I am changed so that aught evil wish is dead within, although no memory be of what is hate, let them not lose it now. What was that curse? Mother, know ye not me, the Titan? O rock-embosomed lawns and snow-fed streams, through whose o'ershadowing woods I wandered once with Asia, drinking life from her loved eyes, why scorns the spirit which informs ye now to commune with me? Me alone, who checked the falsehood and the force of him who reigns supreme. Why answer ye not still, brethren?
They dare not.
Who dares? For I would hear that curse again. Speak, spirit, how cursed I him?
How canst thou hear who knowest not the language of the dead?
Thou art a living spirit, speak as they.
I dare not speak like life, earnestly, hearken now.
Obscurely through my brain, like shadows dim, sweep awful thoughts, rapid and thick. I feel faint like one mingled in entwining love, yet 'tis not pleasure.
No, thou canst not hear. Thou art immortal, and this tongue is known only to those who die.
And what art thou, O melancholy voice?
I am the earth, thy mother, she within whose stony veins, to the last fibre of the loftiest tree, whose thin leaves trembled in the frozen air, joy ran, as blood within a living frame, when thou didst from her bosom, like a cloud of glory, arise, a spirit of keen joy. But when our almighty tyrant chained thee here, my wan breast was dry with grief, and the thin air, my breath, was stained with the contagion of a mother's hate, breeded on her child's destroyer. I heard thy curse, the which if thou rememberest not, yet my innumerable seas and streams, mountains and caves and winds and yon wide air, and the inarticulate people of the dead preserve a treasured spell. We meditate and seek with joy and hope those dreadful words, but dare not speak them.
Mine own words, I pray, deny me not.
They shall be told. Ere Babylon was dust, the Magus Zoroaster, my dead child, met his own image walking in the garden. That apparition, soul of men, he saw. For know, there are two worlds, of life and death, one that which thou beholdest, but the other is underneath the grave, where do inhabit the shadows of all forms that think and live till death unite them and they part no more. Dreams and the light imaginings of men and all that fate creates or love desires, terrible, strange, sublime and beauteous shapes. There thou art and dost hang, all the gods are there, and all the powers of nameless worlds, and Demogorgon, a tremendous gloom, and he, the supreme tyrant, on his throne of burning gold. Son, one of these shall utter the curse which all remember. Call at will thine own ghost, or the ghost of Jupiter. Ask, and they must reply, so the revenge of the supreme may sweep through vacant shades, as rainy wind through the abandoned gate of a fallen palace.
Mother, let not aught of that which may be evil pass again my lips, or those of aught resembling me. Phantom of Jupiter, arise, appear.
My wings are folded o'er mine eyes, my wings are crossed o'er mine eyes. Yet through their silver shade appears, and through their lulling plumes arise, a shape, a throng of sounds. May it be no ill to thee, O thou of many wounds, near whom, for our sweet sister's sake, ever thus we watch and wake.
The sound is of whirlwind underground, earthquake and fire and mountains cloven. The shape is awful like the sound, clothed in dark purple, star enwoven. A sceptre of pale gold to stay steps proud, o'er the slow cloud his veined hand doth hold. Cruel he looks, but calm and strong, like one who does, not suffers wrong.
Why have the secret powers of this strange world driven me, a frail and empty phantom, hither on direst storms? And proud sufferer, who art thou?
Tremendous image as thou art must be him whom thou shadowest forth. I am his foe, the Titan. Speak the words which I would hear, although no thought inform thine empty voice.
The spirit seizes me and speaks within. It tears me as fire tears a thundercloud.
I see the curse on gestures proud and cold, written as on a scroll. Yet speak, O speak.
Fiend, I defy thee. With a calm fixed mind, all that thou canst inflict, I bid thee do. Foul tyrant, both of gods and humankind, one only being shalt thou not subdue. Rain then thy plagues upon me here, I do thy worst. Let thy malignant spirit move in darkness over those I love. On me and mine I imprecate the utmost torture of thy hate, and thus devote to sleepless agony this undeclining head, while thou must reign on high. But thou, who art the God and Lord, O thou, who fillest with thy soul this world of woe, to whom all things earth and heaven do bow in fear and worship, all prevailing foe, I curse thee. Let the sufferer's curse clasp thee, his torturer, like remorse, till thine infinity shall be a robe of envenomed agony, and thine omnipotence a crown of pain, to cling like burning gold round thy dissolving brain. An awful image of calm power, though now thou sittest, let the hour come when thou must appear to be that which thou art internally, and after many a false and fruitless crime, scorn track thy lagging fall through boundless space and time.
Were these my words, O parent?
They were thine.
It doth repent me. Words are quick and vain. Grief for a while is blind, and so was mine. I wish no living thing to suffer pain.
Misery, oh misery to me, that Jove at length should vanquish thee.
Fear not, 'tis but some passing spasm. The Titan is unvanquished still. Where through the azure chasm of yon forked and snowy hill, trampling the slant winds on high, with golden sandal feet a shape comes now, stretching on high from his right hand a serpent cinctured wand.
'Tis Jove's world-wandering herald, Mercury.
Awful sufferer, to thee unwilling, most unwillingly I come, by the great Father's will driven down, to execute a doom of new revenge. Even now thy torturer arms with the strange might of unimagined pains the powers who scheme slow agonies in hell, and my commission is to lead them here and leave them to their task. Be it not so. There is a secret known to thee and to none else of living things, which may transfer the scepter of wide heaven, the fear of which perplexes the supreme. Clothe it in words, and bid it clasp his throne in intercession. Bend thy soul in prayer, let the will kneel within thy haughty heart. For benefits and meek submission tame the fiercest and the mightiest.
Evil minds change good to their own nature. I gave all he has, and in return he chains me here, years, ages, night and day. Submission, thou dost know, I cannot try. I wait, enduring thus the retributive hour, which since we spake is even nearer now. But hark, the hellhounds clamour, fear delay. Behold, heaven lowers under thy father's throne.
Oh, that we might be spared, I to inflict and thou to suffer. Once more, answer me. Thou knowest not the period of Jove's power?
I know but this, that it must come.
Alas, thou canst not count thy years to come of pain.
They last while love must reign. No more, nor less do I desire or fear.
I must obey his words and thine. Alas, most heavily remorse hangs at my heart.
Ah, woe, alas, pain, pain ever, forever. I close my tearless eyes, but see more clear thy works within my woe-illumined mind, thou subtle tyrant. Peace is in the grave. The grave hides all things beautiful and good. I am a god, and cannot find it there.
Alas, what saw'st thou more?
There are two woes, to speak and to behold. Thou spare me one. Names are there, nature's sacred watchwords. They were borne aloft in bright emblazonry. The nations thronged around and cried aloud, as with one voice, truth, liberty, and love. Suddenly, fierce confusion fell from heaven among them. There was strife, deceit, and fear. Tyrants rushed in and did divide the spoil. This was the shadow of the truth I saw.
I felt thy torture, son, with such mixed joy as pain and virtue give. To cheer thy state I bid ascend those subtle and fair spirits, whose homes are the dim caves of human thought, and who inhabit, as birds wing the wind, its world surrounding ether. They behold beyond that twilight realm, as in a glass, the future. May they speak comfort to thee.
Look, sister, where a troop of spirits gather, like flocks of clouds in spring's delightful weather, thronging in the blue air.
And see, more come, like fountain vapours when the winds are done, that climb up the ravine in scattered lines. And hark! Is it the music of the pines? Is it the lake? Is it the waterfall?
'Tis something sadder, sweeter far than all.
From unremembered ages we, gentle guides and guardians be of heaven-oppressed mortality, and we breathe and sicken not the atmosphere of human thought.
More yet come, one by one. The air around them looks radiant as the air around a star.
From the dust of creeds outworn, from the tyrant's banner torn, gathering round me onward borne, there was mingled many a cry, freedom, hope, death, victory, till they faded through the sky, and one sound above, around, one sound beneath, around, above was moving. 'Twas the soul of love, 'twas the hope, the prophecy which begins and ends in thee.
On a poet's lips I slept, dreaming like a lover deft in the sound his breathing kept, nor seeks nor finds he mortal blisses, but feeds on the aerial kisses of shapes that haunt thought's wildernesses. He will watch from dawn to gloom, the lake-reflected sun illume the yellow bees in the ivy bloom, nor heed nor see what things they be. But from these create he can forms more real than living man, nurslings of immortality. One of these awakened me, and I sped to succour thee.
How fair these airborne shapes! And yet I fear most vain all hope but love. And thou art far, Asia, who, when my being overflowed, were like a golden chalice to bright wine, which else had sunk into the thirsty dusk. All things are still. Alas, how heavily this quiet morning weighs upon my heart. I would fain be what it is my destiny to be, the saviour and the strength of suffering man, or sink into the original gulf of things. There is no agony and no solace left. Earth can console, heaven can torment no more.
Hast thou forgotten one who watches thee the cold dark night, and never sleeps but when the shadow of thy spirit falls on her? The eastern star looks white, and Asia waits in that far Indian vale the scene of her sad exile. Rugged once, and desolate and frozen like this ravine, but now invested with fair flowers and herbs, and haunted by sweet airs and sounds, which flow among the woods and waters from the ether of her transforming presence, which would fade if it were mingled not with thine. Farewell.
spring, O child of many winds. This the season, this the day, the hour. At sunrise thou shouldst come, sweet sister mine. Too long desired, too long delaying, come! The point of one white star is quivering still, deep in the orange light of widening morn, beyond the purple mountains. Through a chasm of wind-divided mist, the darker lake reflects it. Now it wanes. It gleams again as the waves fade, and as the burning threads of woven cloud unravel in pale air. 'Tis lost, and through yon peaks of cloud-like snow, the roseate sunlight quivers. I see those eyes which burn through smiles that fade in tears, like stars half quenched in mists of silver dew. Beloved and most beautiful, how late thou art!
Pardon, great sister, but my wings were faint with the delight of a remembered dream, as are the noontide plumes of summer winds satiate with sweet flowers. I was wont to sleep peacefully, and awake refreshed and calm, before the sacred Titan's fall and thy unhappy love had made through use and pity both love and woe familiar to my heart. And not as now, since I am made the wind which fails beneath the music that I bear, too full of care and pain.
Lift up thine eyes, and let me read thy dream.
With our sea sister at his feet I slept. Then 2 dreams came. One I remember not, but in the other his pale, wound-worn limbs fell from Prometheus, and the azure night grew radiant with the glory of that form which lives unchanged within, and his voice fell like music which makes giddy the dim brain, faint with intoxication of keen joy. I saw not, heard not, moved not, only felt his presence flow and mingle through my blood till it became his life, and his grew mine. And as the rays of thought were slowly gathered, I could hear his voice, whose accents lingered ere they died, like footsteps of far melody. Thy name, among the many sounds, alone I heard of what might be articulate, though still I listened through the night when sound was none. I answered not, for the eastern star grew pale, but fled to thee.
Thou speakest, but thy words are as the air, I feel them not. Oh, lift thine eyes, that I may read his written soul.
I lift them, though they droop beneath the load of what they would express. What canst thou see but thine own fairest shadow imaged there?
Thine eyes are like the deep blue, boundless heaven, contracted to 2 circles underneath their long, fine lashes. Dark, far, measureless, orb within orb, and line through line enwoven.
Why lookest thou as if a spirit passed?
There is a change. Beyond their inmost depth I see a shade, a shape. 'Tis he, arrayed in the soft light of his own smiles, which spread like radiance from the cloud-surrounded moon. Prometheus, it is thou. Depart not yet. Say not those smiles that we shall meet again within that bright pavilion which their beams shall build o'er the waste world. The dream is told. What shape is that between us? Its rude hair roughens the wind that lifts it. Its regard is wild and quick, yet 'tis a thing of air.
It is mine other dream.
It disappears.
It passes now into my mind. Methought as we sat here, the flower-enfolding buds burst on yon lightning-blasted almond tree, when swift from the white Scythian wilderness a wind swept forth, wrinkling the earth with frost. I looked, and all the blossoms were blown down, but on each leaf was stamped, as the blue bells of hyacinth tell Apollo's written grief, "Oh, follow, follow."
As you speak, your words fill, pause by pause, my own forgotten sleep with shapes. Methought among these lawns together we wandered, underneath the young grey dawn, and multitudes of dense, white, fleecy clouds were wandering in thick flocks along the mountains, shepherded by the slow, unwilling wind. And on the shadows of the morning clouds, athwart the purple mountain slope, was written, "Follow, oh, follow," as they vanish by. And on each herb from which heaven's dew had fallen, the like was stamped, as with a withering fire. A wind arose among the pines. It shook the clinging music from their boughs, and then low, sweet, faint sounds like the farewell of ghosts were heard. Oh, follow, follow, follow me. And then I said, Panthea, look on me. But still in the depths of those beloved eyes, still I saw, follow, follow.
Follow, follow.
Crags this clear spring morning mock our voices as they were spirit-tongued.
It is some being around the crags. What fine clear sounds, oh list.
Echoes we, listen, we cannot stay, as dew stars glisten, then fade away, child of ocean. Oh, follow, follow, as our voice recedeth through the cavern's hollow where the forest spreadeth. Oh, follow, follow, through the cavern's hollow, as the song floats thou pursue, where the wild bee never flew, through the noontide darkness deep, by the odor-breathing sleep of faint night flowers, and the waves at the fountain-lighted caves, while our music, wild and sweet, mocks thy gently falling feet, child of ocean.
In the world unknown sleeps a voice unspoken. By thy step alone can its rest be broken, child of ocean.
How the notes sink upon the ebbing wind. Come, sweet Panthea, link thy hand in mine, and follow ere the voices fade away.
Hither the sound has borne us, to the realm of Demogorgon and the mighty portal, like a volcano's meteor-breathing chasm, whence the oracular vapour is hurled up, which lonely men drink wandering in their youth, and call truth, virtue, love, genius, or joy, the voice which is contagion to the world.
Fit throne for such a power, magnificent. How glorious art thou, earth, wonderful. Look, sister, ere the vapour dim thy brain. Beneath is a wide plain of billowy mist. Behold it, rolling on under the curdling winds, and islanding the peak whereon we stand, encinctured by the dark and blooming forests. And far on high, the keen sky-cleaving mountains from icy spires of sun-like radiance fling the dawn, as lifted ocean's dazzling spray from some Atlantic islet scattered up, spangles the wind with lamp-like water drops. Hark! The rushing snow, the sun-awakened avalanche, whose mass, thrice sifted by the storm, had gathered there, flake after flake, in heaven-defying minds as thought by thought is piled, till some great truth is loosened, and the nations echo round, shaken to their roots, as do the mountains now.
Look how the gusty sea of mist is breaking in crimson foam, even at our feet.
The fragments of cloud are scattered up, the wind that lifts them disentwines my hair. Its billows now sweep o'er mine eyes. My brain grows dizzy. I see thin shapes within the mist.
A countenance with beckoning smiles. There burns an azure fire within its golden locks. Another and another, hark, they speak.
To the deep, down, down, through the shades of sleep, through the cloudy strife of death and of life, through the veil and the bar of things which seem and are, even to the steps of the remoted throne, down, down. We have bound thee, we guide thee, down, down. With the bright form beside thee, resist not the weakness. Such strength is in meekness, that the eternal, the immortal, must unloose through life's portal the snake-like doom coiled underneath his throne, by that alone.
What veiled form sits on that ebon throne?
The veil has fallen.
I see a mighty darkness filling the seat of power. Nor form, nor outline, yet we feel it is a living spirit.
Ask what thou wouldst know.
What canst thou tell?
All things thou darest demand.
Who made the living world?
God.
Who made all that it contains? Thought, passion, reason, will, imagination?
God. Almighty God.
Who made that sense which, when the winds of spring in rarest visitation, or the voice of one beloved heard in youth alone, fills the faint eyes with falling tears and leaves this peopled earth a solitude when it returns no more?
Merciful God.
And who made terror, madness, crime, remorse, abandoned hope, and love that turns to hate, and self-contempt, bitter to drink than blood, and hell, or the sharp fear of hell?
He reigns.
Utter his name. A world pining in pain asks but his name. Curses shall drag him down.
He reigns.
I feel, I know it. Who?
He reigns.
Who reigns? There was the heaven and earth at first, and light and love. Then Saturn, from whose throne time fell in envious shadow. Such the state of the earth's primal spirits beneath his sway, as the calm joy of flowers and living leaves before the wind or sun has withered them. But he refused them the birthright of their being, knowledge, power, the skill which wields the elements, the thought which pierces this dim universe like light, self-empire, and the majesty of love, for thirst of which they fainted. Then Prometheus gave wisdom which is strength to Jupiter, and with this law alone, let man be free, clothed him with the dominion of wide heaven. To know nor faith, nor love, nor law, to be omnipotent but friendless, is to reign. And Jove now reigned. For on the race of man, first famine and then toil and then disease, strife, wounds, and ghastly death unseen before. Prometheus saw, and waked the legioned hopes which sleep within Nepenthe, Mali, Amaranth, that they might hide with thin and rainbow wings the shape of death. And love he sent to bind the disunited tendrils of that vine which bears the wine of life, the human heart. And he tamed fire. He gave man speech, and speech created thought, which is the measure of the universe. And signs struck the thrones of earth and heaven, which shook but fell not. He told the hidden power of herbs and springs, and disease drank and slept. Death grew like sleep. He taught the implicated orbits woven of the wide wandering stars. He taught to rule the tempest-winged chariots of the ocean, and the Celt knew the Indian. Cities then were built, and through their snow-like columns flowed the warm winds, and the azure ether shone. Such the alleviations of his state Prometheus gave to man, for which he hangs withering in destined pain. But who rains down evil, the immitigable plague, which drives man on, the wreck of his own will, the scorn of earth, the outcast, the abandoned, the alone? Not Jove, while yet his frown shook heaven. Aye, when his adversary from adamantine chains cursed him, he trembled like a slave. Declare, who is his master? Is he too a slave?
All spirits are enslaved which serve things evil. Thou knowest if Jupiter be such or no.
Whom callest thou God?
I spoke but as ye speak, for Jove is the supreme of living things.
Who is the master of the slave?
If the abysm could vomit forth its secrets, but a voice is wanting. The deep truth is imageless. For what would it avail to bid thee gaze on the revolving world? What to bid speak fate, time, occasion, chance, and change? To these all things are subject, but eternal love.
So much I asked before, and my heart gave the response thou hast given. And of such truths, each to itself must be the oracle. One more demand, and do thou answer me as my own soul would answer, did it know that which I ask. Prometheus shall arise, henceforth the sun of this rejoicing world. When shall the destined hour arrive?
Behold!
The rocks are cloven, and through the purple night I see cars drawn by rainbow-winged steeds, which trample the dim winds. In each there stands a wild-eyed charioteer urging their flight.
These are the immortal hours of whom thou didst demand. One waits for thee.
See, near the verge a chariot stays, an ivory shell, inlaid with crimson fire, which comes and goes within its sculptured rim of delicate, strange tracery. The young spirit that guides it has the dove-like eyes of hope.
My coursers are fed with the lightning. They drink of the whirlwind stream. Ascend with me, daughter of ocean.
O spirit, pause, and tell whence is the light which fills this cloud. The sun is yet unrisen.
The sun will rise not until noon. Apollo is held in heaven by wonder, and the light which fills this vapour, as the aerial hue of fountain-gazing roses fills the water, flows from thy mighty sister.
I feel...
What is it with thee, sister? Thou art pale.
I dare not look on thee. I feel, but see thee not. I scarce endure the radiance of thy beauty. Some good change is working in the elements which suffer thy presence thus unveiled. The Nereids tell that on the day when the clear hyaline was cloven at thine uprise, and thou didst stand within a veined shell, which floated on over the calm floor of the crystal sea among the Aegean isles, and by the shores which bear thy name, love, like the atmosphere of the sun's fire filling the living world, burst from thee, and illumined earth and heaven, and the deep ocean, and the sunless caves, and all that dwells within them, till grief cast eclipse upon the soul from which it came. Such art thou now, nor is it I alone, thy sister, thy companion, thine own chosen one, but the whole world which seeks thy sympathy.
Thy words are sweeter than aught else but his, whose echoes they are. Yet all love is sweet, given or returned. Common as light is love, and its familiar voice wearies not ever. Like the wide heaven, the all-sustaining air, it makes the reptile equal to the god. They who inspire it most are fortunate, as I am now, but those who feel it most are happier still, after long sufferings, as I shall soon become.
List, spirits speak.
Life of life, thy lips enkindle with their love the breath between them, and thy smiles before they dwindle make the cold air fire. Then screen them in those looks where whoso gazes faints entangled in their mazes.
Lamp of earth, where'er thou movest, its dim shapes are clad with brightness, and the souls of whom thou lovest walk upon the winds with lightness, till they fail, as I am failing, dizzy, lost, yet unbewailing.
My soul is an enchanted boat, which, like a sleeping swan, doth float upon the silver waves of thy sweet singing. And thine doth like an angel sit beside the helm conducting it, whilst all the winds with melody are ringing. It seems to float ever, forever, upon that many winding river, between mountains, woods, abysses, a paradise of wildernesses, till, like one in slumber bound, borne to the ocean, I float down, around, into a sea profound of ever-spreading sound. Meanwhile, thy spirit lifts its pinions in music's most serene dominions, catching the winds that fan that happy heaven. And we sail on, away, afar, without a course, without a star, but by the instinct of sweet music driven, till through Elysian garden islets, by thee most beautiful of pilots, where never mortal pinnace glided, the boat of my desire is guided. Realms where the air we breathe is love, which in the winds, on the waves doth move, harmonizing this earth with what we feel above.
Ye congregated powers of heaven, who share the glory and the strength of him ye serve, rejoice. Henceforth I am omnipotent. All else had been subdued to me. Alone the soul of man, like unextinguished fire, yet burns towards heaven with fierce reproach and doubt and lamentation, and reluctant prayer, hurling up insurrection, aspiring, unrepressed, yet soon to fall. Even now have I begotten a strange wonder, that fatal child, the terror of the earth, who waits but till the destined hour arrive, bearing from Demogorgon's vacant throne the dreadful might of ever-living limbs which clothe that awful spirit unbeheld, to redescend and trample out the spark. Thetis, bright image of eternity, ascend beside me, veiled in the light of the desire which makes thee one with me. When thou didst cry, insufferable might, God, spare me, I sustain not the quick flames, the penetrating presence. Even then, two mighty spirits mingling, made a third, mightier than either, which, unbodied now, between us floats, felt, although unbeheld, waiting the incarnation, which ascends, hear ye the thunder of the fiery wheels grinding the winds, from Demogorgon's throne. Victory, victory! Feel'st not thou, O world, the earthquake of his chariot thundering up Olympus? Awful shape, what art thou? Speak!
Eternity demands no direr name. Descend and follow me down the abyss. I am thy child, as thou art Saturn's child, mightier than thee, and we must dwell together henceforth in darkness.
Detested prodigy, mercy, mercy. No pity, no release, no respite. Oh, that thou wouldst make mine enemy my judge, even where he hangs, seared by my long revenge on Caucasus. He would not doom me thus, gentle and just and dreadless. Is he not the monarch of the world? What then art thou? No refuge, no appeal. Sink with me then. We too will sink on the wide waves of ruin, even as a vulture and a snake outspent drop, twisted in inextricable fight, into a shoreless sea, the conqueror and the conquered, and the wreck of that for which they combated. Aye, the elements obey me not. I sink dizzily down, ever, forever down, and like a cloud, mine enemy above darkens my fall with victory.
Most glorious among spirits, thus doth strength minister like a slave to wisdom, courage, and long-suffering love, and thee, who art the form they animate.
Thy gentle words are sweeter even than freedom long desired and long delayed. Asia, thou light of life, shadow of beauty unbeheld, and ye fair sister nymphs, who made long years of pain sweet to remember through your love and care, henceforth we will not part. There is a cave, all overgrown with trailing, odorous plants, which curtain out the day with leaves and flowers, a simple dwelling which shall be our own, where we will sit and talk of time and change as the world ebbs and flows, ourselves unchanged. What can hide man from mutability? And hither come, sped on the charmed wings, the echoes of the human world, which tell of the low voice of love almost unheard, and dove-like pity's murmured pain, and music, itself the echo of the heart, and all that tempers or improves man's life, now free. And lovely apparitions, dim at first, then radiant, shall visit us, the progeny immortal of painting, sculpture, and rapt poesy, and arts, though yet unimagined, yet to be.
Listen, look, it is the spirit of the hour.
We feel what thou hast heard and seen, yet speak.
Soon as the sound had ceased, whose thunder filled the abysses of the sky and the wide earth, there was a change. My vision then grew clear, and I could see into the mysteries of the universe. Dizzy, as with delight, I floated down to the earth. It was, as it is still, the pain of bliss, to move, to breath, to be. I wandering went among the haunts and dwellings of mankind, and first was disappointed not to see such mighty change as I had felt within, expressed in outward things. But soon I looked, and behold, thrones were kingless, and men walked one with the other, even as spirits do. None fawned, none trampled. Hate, disdain or fear, self-love or self-contempt, on human brows no more inscribed, as o'er the gate of hell all hope abandon ye who enter here. Thrones, altars, judgment seats and prisons, the tools and emblems of its last captivity, amid the dwellings of the peopled earth, stand not o'erthrown, but unregarded now. Man remains scepterless, free, uncircumscribed, equal, unclassed, tribeless and nationless, exempt from awe, worship, degree, king over himself. Just, gentle, wise, free from guilt or pain, yet not exempt, though ruling them like slaves, from chance and death and mutability, the clogs of that which else might o'ersoar the loftiest star of unascended heaven, pinnacled dim in the intense inane.
And since it is the last performance, can I just ask you to think of 4 people who have not had the satisfaction of adrenaline and applause, but who did so much to make this evening work. Sam Motherwell, who drew the images, Jill Johndorf, who translated those wonderful titles for Aeschylus, Julian, in his capacity as musician, who composed and arranged the music for you, and not least, Michael Carroll at the compost, who's kept everything in synchrony. They need thanking too. Thank you.